So, how do you prepare before a match of volleyball?
So we tend to start at the game and work backwards in terms of if the game is mid-morning, okay, what does that mean in terms of when we need to get to the venue, how long do we need to warm up, therefore what time do we need to get on the bus to get there, therefore what time do we need to get our kit ready and have the final kit check, because you'd be amazed even as elite athletes how many people turn up with the wrong colour kit or no kit at all. And then therefore what time do we need to have breakfast so that we've got the optimum energy levels. And so there's a very logistical plan, and then every athlete does what best works for them in terms of getting themselves focused on the game. I tend to watch some previous games, watch some things I've done really well to give me the confidence, watch some things I know I didn't do quite so well in previous games to give me things I want to focus on, watch a bit of the opposition so I feel like I know going in, what their particular game set is, and that makes me feel a bit prepared. And then you have a bit of a routine. So I always wear odd socks, and that's very important to me. So I put them on, and then I put my shorts on, then I put my top on, and everyone has things in a routine. And that's really helpful because it takes away the nerves. You're just doing the same. If you do the same in every game, whether it's just a local club game or it's, the Paralympic games, it just reminds you it's just another game and you just do what you do each time.
Okay. Keep.
What made you become a volleyball player? Why volleyball?
So I went to, after I had my accident, I went to a British Paralympic Have a Go Day, where I got to try lots of different sports, because I'd always been sporty, and when I got used to having a disability, sport left quite a big hole in my life. So I went along, had lots of different sports, tried the ones I liked, but volleyball for me was a team sport. There's not that many disability sports that team-based, and I loved team sports, and it was importantly out of my chair, so it felt like the one place that I could forget I had a disability and just shuffle around the floor the same way as everybody else.
How pleased or surprised were you when you first heard about Paralympic sports and realised that you could do sports?
It took me quite a long time, because I think with all of us, when you say a word like Paralympic sports, you think back to what you know, and therefore you have those sort of biases and those opinions about things before you even try it.
Yeah.
So I thought of, it's going to be loads of people, throwing balls around, and that's really boring. So I went in almost determined I wasn't going to like it. But as soon as I got in there, I thought, wow, there's so many different people with so many different disabilities, and they're all actually just like me, and it was great.
Oh, okay.
What does being captain mean to you?
It was a huge thing for me because my team actually voted, so it wasn't a position that was given to me, it was my team having a level of faith and confidence in me. So it felt like a huge privilege. It felt like I was able to input, so I became part of the team who was looking at which players would we play, what's our strategy. So I felt like I had a good input into decisions, but it was also a lot of pressure. I remember the first game when we went out onto the Paralympic court, and I was terrified, exactly the same as my team were. But of course I had to say, come on guys, it's going to be all right, we can do this. Whereas inside I was like, oh, I'm so scared. So.
Yeah. Who in your life has inspired you and why?
Do you know what? There are so many people who have inspired me. I met Tanni Gray-Thompson, the famous wheelchair racer, not long after my accident, and she certainly inspired me to see that there was something positive, that you could still contribute when you're new to a disability. My mum and dad definitely brought me up to be, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, it's what you do and how many times you get up that matters. But even when I come to schools, every single time I meet so many amazing people, and maybe they haven't done anything that's going to make headline news, but actually you can get inspiration from absolutely everybody.
What did you study in Cambridge and why?
So I studied criminology and penal management, because at that point I was working in the prison service, and I was really interested in how do we take a structure that's designed to punish people and make it something really positive, make it so that people come out able to give something back to society and to lead, law-abiding and purposeful lives upon release. So that was why I did it.
What did you want to be before the accident? Do you want to be prison?
So when I was at school, I think I probably wanted to be a PE teacher. just because that was somebody, I loved sport, and therefore it was somebody I looked up to. And I think when you're at school, you want to be something you like. When I went to university, I wasn't sure what I wanted to be. I'm one of those flitters that every time I see something on the telly, even now, I think, oh, I'd love to do that. But I just went going with my passions, and I think you're always better at things that you're passionate about, and that's the route I took.
Okay.
What's one of your favourite moments doing volleyball? Like, if you could go back to one time specifically, which one would it be?
So I think probably my best moment would be when we were queuing up to go into the Olympic Stadium. And there wasn't a single day in the journey up to the Paralympics where I doubted whether I could do it, and I thought, they can't possibly be me, it must be a joke. But we were queuing up to go into the stadium. We'd waited about 3.5 hours, and as we went into the stadium, it was silent. And then all of a sudden, 85,000 people were like cheering and going mad. And of course, they weren't cheering for me personally, but it felt like they were. And I just remember thinking, whatever happens now, this moment I'm going to remember forever. And then me and my teammate Martine went back to our room, and we could see the Olympic Stadium, and we just laid on the bed, and it was changing colours, and we were laid there just in awe because it was just too much to take in at the time. And I just think sometimes you get to a position, and it's only when you get there you realise how very, very lucky you are to be there, and it's one of those once in a lifetime moments.
Which match would you say sticks in your head the most as being hardest or most fun?
So I think probably when we played Japan, because we were trading really well. Japan is a much more experienced team than us. So we went into every game as the underdog, and we got to sort of halfway and we were equal scores, and there was a real sense of we can do this. And it was ups and downs, and then they'd lose some points, and then we'd lose some points, and it was a long game emotionally, and it was just, you get that sense of this is real. We're not losing, and we almost didn't know what to do when we weren't losing, but it was a great game.
Cool.
What do you do in your spare time apart from volleyball?
So it's really important to relax. One of the things I think people don't understand about being an elite athlete is recovery is as important as the physical activity you put in. So I've had to learn, because I'm a really active person, I've had to learn the importance of resting, but positively resting. So I enjoy reading, I enjoy keeping in contact with friends, and I also do some mentoring, and I really enjoy that, because I think throughout life you learn so much, and it's really important that you pass it on to other people to help them along too.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
10 questions.
Fab.
Thank you.